What's going on at the base of the Swiss Alps? This Dario Argento thriller has a lot of novelties, among them a Jennifer Connelly so young in the starring role she bears the scent of the womb. Connelly's the daughter of Paul Sorvino, a wealthy movie star who transplants her to Richard Wagner, an exclusive Swiss boarding school, unaware that Wagner and its environs have been plagued by a series of mysterious murders. The moment we meet Jennifer Corvino, we pick up that she's a spooky chick.
I know. It won't hurt me. Insects never hurt me. I love them.
You love them?
Yes. I love all insects.
She runs into trouble at the school straight away when her loopiness and sense of celebrity entitlement cause her to get prickly with the headmistress and act as if the school's strict rules don't apply to her. Jennifer's roommate, though, is taken with her. She talks about the murders, but vaguely, preferring to ply Jennifer with questions about her heartthrob dad. That night, Jennifer sleepwalks. Did I mention she sleepwalks? And has a strange, dreamlike vision of a terrifying murder. She comes to when a car hits her. Its riders scoop her up and try to drive off with her. It's unclear, and you shudder to think to where or why, but she kicks their asses and finally jumps or is pushed out. She tumbles into the woods. And probably the movie's seminal coincidence, a pair of ladybugs and a monkey lead her, as she doubtless wonders whether she's awake even now, to the generous home of Dr. MacGregor, an eccentric entomologist. Now, what are the odds of a girl with a cosmic connection to insects coming across such a fellow just by luck? They discuss her natural affinity for bugs, and MacGregor fills her in on the murders. His one-time assistant Rita was among the first to fall victim, and when Jessica puts on Rita's overcoat, he mentions how much she resembles her. Back at the school, meanwhile, Jennifer languishes. The school's administrators hassle her, suspecting that her somnambulism is a cover for truancy. The other girls, deeming her insect obsessions to be outside the unforgiving bounds of conduct acceptable to teenagers, taunt her mercilessly. And in a scene worthy of De Palma, not that that's always that hard, she summons a swarm of flies to terrify her tormentor.
I love you. I love you all. I love you. I love all of you.
It all foams over when her roommate sneaks out of the room one night wearing Jennifer's overshirt by mistake. Again with the theme of swapped clothes and fudged identities, the killer, thinking the girl is Jennifer and hoping to tie up loose ends, spears her. Ouch. Jennifer sneaks up to find out what's happened, and in maybe the movie's most elegant moment, though there's lots of competition, a firefly leads her to one of the killer's gloves. She returns to MacGregor. The larvae on the glove provide the pair with an invaluable clue, and the adventurous Jennifer follows a hatched sarcophagus fly to a house she suspects, and we've known since the opening scene, to be the killer's home. One of several Argento titles in the Mill Creek collection, Creepers is actually a shortened American version of the director's original, renamed and cut by more than 20 minutes. It's notorious among purist Italian horror fans for being a butchery of Argento's vision, and though I personally think outrage over movie re-edits is often overdone, in this case they do make Creepers hard to follow. I had to watch the original 110-minute version Phenomena before I could tell what was going on. Argento claims to have had the idea for Creepers after reading about entomological forensics, the practice of using insects to solve crimes. This real-world practice examines corpse decomposition opposite the specific bugs that caused it to pinpoint time of death. The prosaic application of criminal entomology gets explained early on when MacGregor determines how long the owner of a decapitated head has been deceased based on how thoroughly the maggots have consumed it. But the insects as detectives theme gets more interesting, and at the same time more pseudo-scientific, when Argento steers it into the paranormal. MacGregor, a black sheep in the entomological community, takes the practice beyond the strictly rational. He believes insects can communicate by telepathy, enjoy second sight even when nearly blind, and have many other improbable powers besides. When he first started explaining his ideas to Jennifer, I was expecting to hear something about chaos theory and strange attractors, about swarms being almost intelligent, even when individual insects are so simple they're barely alive. Think about locust clouds that move in complicated, seemingly deliberate patterns when on the individual level each locust is motivated simply by the desire to eat the one in front of him while not being eaten by the one behind. Argento's vision feels less conceptual than it is spiritual or even mythical, though. As though, when they're around Jennifer, the insects become individually conscious. She's not a rainwoman savant who can intuit the computational complexities of the swarm. Instead, she's a deity or patron saint linked to these creatures individually in being. So though the insects repeatedly come to her aid en masse, the most moving scenes involving her and her familiars are the intimate ones. These moments of beauty are complemented by many other rich set pieces, and it's clear why Phenomena is one of Argento's best appreciated movies. That said, it's also one of the few he's done in English, and sometimes it seems to show that this isn't his native tongue, as he lets performances slide by that are so awkward they actually seem dubbed. Take Jennifer's roommate, for example.
How is it? Like cat food. By the way, I'm Sophie. I'm French. Jennifer.
Another bad misfire happens near the beginning when one of Jennifer's caretakers inexplicably overreacts to what's really a rather minor threat.
We all speak English, and then our academic program is based on the American one.
Oh, a bee! Oh, be careful, it might sting you. No! Leave it alone! Look out! No, don't kill it! Please, thank you.
Lady, it's a bee. These occasional campy moments aside, Creepers has a ton of things going for it. Connelly's performance is resonant and deft, especially considering her age. Also, Donald Pleasance, who shakes out of his mumbling villain typecast with his endearing portrayal of Dr. MacGregor. The prog rock heavy metal soundtrack from Iron Maiden, the Rolling Stones is Bill Wyman, and The Goblin, naturally. Still, I think it sometimes shouts the movie out, and do wonder what a composer that followed this story's emotional arc more carefully might have done with it. Creepers works from a fascinating and inventive concept, and of course overall it looks exquisite. I felt by the end that Argento touches on but doesn't explore some of his more tantalizing themes. The human connection with the hive and with the maggoty feast on death. That ugly process of carrion protein being carried up from the soil into higher life. As such, this is a good movie with a great movie trying to get out. Still, when you're in the Mill Creek universe sifting through swill like Rotor and Star Odyssey, happening across a genuine work of art like Creepers is the sort of thing that can keep you going.
further down one goes in this place, the more monstrous the inmates become. It's probably the same in hell.
Until you reach the last circle. The one without a center.